A very good day to all of you out there in education land, and especially those educators who are teaching English. It's been a long time since I have made any Mega Goal lessons. I'm always ready to help you as teachers, so please contact me if you need any help developing a lesson. Today's lesson is from Mega Goal 1. It is Unit 4, Lesson 1, pages 48 to 49. The type of lesson is when we talk about active student-centered learning tasks, we're going to show you how it works. So it's not just the PowerPoint for the lesson, but there is also explanations about why we're doing what we're doing. To see more lessons on Mega Goal 1, subscribe to Eli's 21st Century Knowledge Community. I will leave the details on the last slide. Now, before you can design any lesson, the first question that we need to ask ourselves is, what are we going to learn and be able to do in this lesson? When we say we mean the students. So if you want your lessons to be student-centered, we're going to be thinking about not what we're going to do, but what they're going to be able to do. Now, if you look at the I can list here, I can see a printed text of 60 to 100 words. Most of the sentences are simple sentences, but around 20% of the sentences are compound sentences. And every detail in the sentence is about 5 words. And today, we should be able to extract details from what we're reading in order to put them in an organizational chart. Now, if you look here on the left, you will always see that when it says teacher, it means this is for you. The students are not going to see this. And this is also for you, the teachers, for those of you who have worked with me before. You know that we like to put a layout about what's going to happen and how we can replicate this. So the pages 48 to 49 from Mega Goal 1, the students will be reading 4 texts, and the text would be advertising a product. Each text is a single paragraph of approximately 120 words. And of course, as we said before, most of the sentences are simple sentences. Now, what kind of sentences we'll be reading? Mostly sentences that tell facts. What to learn? So this is usually the scope. Now, how do we connect to the IELTS exam or the IELTS way of finding out how good their English is? In all listening IELTS exams, there are always numbers and units of measurement. So today, our units of measurement are feet, inches, etc., and some numbers. And this is the I can statement. So what will our students be able to do? They'll be able to find the details, and they'll be able to compare and contrast the details. Now, what will the students be able to do at the end? Let's watch. So let's look at the layout again. This is still the teacher's page. This is what they're going to be able to do. These are the 2 pages that we'll be working from. Now, remember the color code. This color always means that this is a task that is an opening task. The green always means that it's an instruction for learning. The blue always means check your learning or feedback. And the final task is the assessment task. So let's now look at the instruction for the student. If you can look at the top, notice it's an opening task, so it's 1 minute. We post this on the slide, and we go projector slide. Write as many words as you can for the car on your paper. So the students need to have paper or copybooks, pens or pencils. The books are closed. The teacher is not asking different students. Now, when we say write as many words as you can for the car on your paper, some students may write a word, some may write 5. That is not important. The importance of this is to activate prior knowledge of the student. So after they finish writing for a minute, you say, okay, let's go to the next picture. Remember, the books are still closed. Write as many words as you can for the bag on your paper. Remember, we are not looking for right answers. We are activating prior knowledge. And again, the last one, write as many words as you can for the 2 bikes on your paper. So remember, we're not saying for the picture, we're saying for the bike. And that can raise up some questions about what do you call this, what do you call this, etc. Now, you can give some feedback and listen to the students' words, but let's go to the first task so that we don't waste too much time on this video. The books are open now, and we're going to tell the students, read the advertisements on pages 48 and 49 in your books, and underline the words that you already wrote before for each picture. So if the students are reading this, they're going to be looking for any words that they have written about the car before. For example, some students may have written Fiat, and then there's the word Fiat here. The students may have written the word, let's say, handle, and then they can look for the word handle here. Again, it's not important whether they find an answer or not. This strategy is to make them skim through the text to find any words that they have written before, here, here, here. All right. So this should take about 3 minutes. Remember, remind them that you are not reading from start to finish. You are only glancing at it to see if you find any words at all that you have written before. That's why we did not give a feedback here when we did this, but if you want to give some feedback, that's fine. So the students might underline bicycles, they might underline small, etc. Now, here, we're going to give the students a task. The task says, listen to the words the teacher says for each text and circle them. So here, the students were looking for any words they might have written before. Here, the students are going to be looking for words that they hear from the teacher. Now, this is the student's view. The student is looking at their book or at the handout that you give them or at the slide. But if you gave them a slide, then they would not be able to circle the words. So they would need to circle the words on either a handout or on the pages in their book. Now, let's look at the teacher's slide, all right? This is the teacher's slide. What did we say to the students? So the teacher, this is for the teacher only. We don't show the students the slide. The teacher says, number 1, 10 feet. The students can only see this, and they will be looking for 10 feet and circling it. This teacher will say 335 centimeters. Now remember, we said that in the IELTS listening and reading, there are always numbers and measurement units. So the students need to get used to those. So after you say 335 centimeters and the students circle that, 4 feet 11 inches, the students circle that. 1957, the students circle that. 85 kilometers, the students circle that. So when you finish now, we can ask we can show the students this one so that they can check if their answers are right. Now let's go to task number 2B. Again, it's 1 minute, and the teacher says again, now listen to the words the teacher says for each text and circle them. I am going to say some words here. You're going to look through this, find what I'm saying, and circle it. This is what the students will be seeing on the slide, but they can have their books open, or you could have, printed this on a handout. So what are you going to say? You're going to say $40,000, and the students need to find the $40,000 and circle it. Now, remember, we're saying 1 minute per text. You can go like 2 minutes, but the idea is that not to read through, but to look for these. Number 2, you say 25 grams. And you see that the students are circling 25 grams. Remember, The students are not supposed to say or raise their hands and say, teacher, I found it. This has to be completely silent. You say $25,000 and sorry, $20,000 and students circle $20,000. You say titanium and the students circle that as well. Now you can show it to them before you move to the next one. Now in the third one, you are going to say the same thing again. I'm going to say some more words. I want you to find them in the text and circle them. This is the student view. This is the teacher only. You're going to say, number one, 1790s. And the students got to circle that. You're going to say number two, 1817. And the students will circle that. Number three, 1839. And the students will circle it. Then you're going to say titanium again. And the students will circle that. My mistake here, you're going to say folding. That's what happens when we do, sorry, excuse me. We shouldn't have had this. So folding, they did this. I'll fix the PowerPoint. You're going to say fold up, and they will circle the last one. You can show them that. Now, we move to the next task. The books have got to be closed again. So the students already saw these words, they circled them, now they're recognizing them. Here is what you want them to do. You say, listen to the words the teacher says, and now write them on your paper. So you're going to say, number one, 85 kilometers. What must the student write on their paper? 85 kilometers, like here, you know, this is their paper. They will write 85 kilometers. And make sure that they don't just write the K, but they actually spell the whole thing out. Kilometers. It's not important whether it's in British spelling or American spelling. It's still very much recognizable. So you as a teacher, you go, so it's almost like a dictation, but the purpose of the dictation here is to get the students used to numbers and measurement units so that they can do much better on the IELTS exam. I'll just read them very quickly for you if you need them. 4 feet 11 inches. Number 4, 1957. Number 5, $40,000. Number 6, 25 grams. Number 7, $20,000. Number 8, 1790s. Number 9, 1839. Number 10, titanium. So the students have written their answers on the paper, and now you can tell them to open their books and check their own learning. It's not you should be calling one person at a time. They already wrote their answers here, so now they can compare and contrast what they have written by what they see. And look at the nifty little trick. You made them scan again for details. So have you noticed what this is green, this is blue when they're checking their own learning or answers or feedback? Now, we go to learning task number 4A. This should take about 3 to 4 minutes per task. So there's an A, B, C, all right, for the 4 texts. You said to the kids, read the text about, again, my apologies, read the text about compact cars and write the information in the chart. They should be working alone. This is not group work. 3 to 4 minutes. We as a teacher can be going around and checking to see if they're doing. So there is a special chart for every single activity here. The product name, how long it is it, how wide is it, how high is it, where is it made, when was it made, how big is the engine, how fast it can go. All that information will come from this text. So you remember, in one of our objectives is to extract details from a text and organize the details. This is going to help us remember and not only remember, because we can also use it to speak, as you will see later. Now, after the kids, you are going around as a teacher, helping students with meanings of some words, making them at ease that it's okay if we don't get everything right, it's not a test. Now, you can put this up so that they can check their learning, or you can tell them, open your books, check what you have written before, and then look at what I have written for you. So the product name is a Fiat 500. How long is it? It's 10 feet, 11 inches, or 335 centimeters. How wide is it? Where was it made? Etc. Now, let's go to task 4B. Now we have the suitcase. Some of the meaning here, some of the answers here could be inferred. So again, what's the name of the product? Who made it? How long does it take to design? Did it take to design? Etc. Give the students 3 to 4 minutes of their time. Again, walk around. So what's the beauty of this? Why do we call it student-centered active learning? Because it is not the teacher talking to 1, 2, or 3 of the students who are giving answers. Everybody should be doing this. This increases the experience for everybody. And for people who don't really know what to do, and we'll always have a few of them, we go around and help them because the others know what to do. But after they finish, you tell them to check their answers, either by looking at the text in the book and then checking the table that you made, or just going straight to the table. Again, the name of the product, who made it, etc. Now we go to 4C, the bicycle. The students, again, have the chart on their paper. Either they drew it or you gave it as handouts. You did some help here by telling them the name of some of the items. And after they're reading, what's the name of the product? Where was it made? Who developed it? Who introduced it? Introduced the first pedals? Why the front wheel was bigger than the back wheel? And you ask them to open their books, check their learning, and of course you can give them the feedback. So which is better as a feedback? The teacher talking to the whole class, or the students reading and comparing their answers with what they see? Now, we go to the next task. If you look here, it's called language interaction. If we want our students to learn English, and especially language means that we hear it and we talk it. It's not reading and writing. Reading and writing are called literacy. So what we want is for the students to interact with each other. Now, remember, the first time is always difficult, so the students need to learn what to do, and then the next time we do this, we are able to move much faster. So you told them, close your books in pairs, use your chart to talk about the Fiat 500 to each other. So this is what would happen. You would have 2 students like this. The first student would go, the Fiat 500 is 335 centimeters long. It is 5 feet or 165 centimeters wide. It was made in Italy. It was first made in 1957. So you want student A to use this chart to talk to student B, and all the class must be doing this at the same time. It's not only 2 who come to the front of the classroom and the rest are passive listeners. It should be every person is working in pairs with another person talking about the Fiat 500. So notice the social skills here. Student B has to say to student A, thank you for the information. Now I will tell you about the Fiat 500. So this is called language interaction. Does it work perfectly the first time you do it? The answer is probably not. It needs the students to learn to become independent, how to listen to each other, and most importantly, how to use what we call pair voice. Pair voice is that they speak at a level that does not disrupt the other pair. Now, we ask them to do the same thing again, but about the bag. So student A is talking to student B about the bag, or student B is talking to student A. It doesn't matter, you know? So student B started this time. A group of German engineers made a bag called Henk. It took 10 years for them to design it. You are giving your students an opportunity and experience to use language that otherwise is only mostly designed in the classroom to answer teachers' questions, right? So how do we learn to speak to each other? We extract details, we put them in an organizer, and then we use the organizer in order to talk. And by the way, this is another way we can use to write a summary of what we have read. And finally, the last one, the same thing. Student A, B started, the first bike was made in France in 1790s. So you're giving students the opportunity to say these numbers the way that you made them find it and circle it, then listen to you and write it like in a dictation, and now they are speaking it. This is just a 40-minute lesson. However, the first time we do this, it might take more than 40 minutes, so don't worry about it. It takes longer because it takes much more time to explain to the students how to do something. And now we come to the assessment part. Notice that we said, choose no more than 2 words from text 1. No more than 2 words means that they can only put 2 words in the blank, but they can also put 1. Write your answer in the blank space. So this is reading to writing, but this has nothing to do with the text. So it's not checking comprehension. It is checking ability to produce details. My dad bought a new car. It's a very big car. There should be a T here, I'm sorry again. It measures something by something. So they need to find, what should they do? Should it be 15 feet or 15 centimeters? What is it? So it starts to give the students the ability to visualize the difference between 15 feet and 15 centimeters. All right. My dad loves it because it is of the new Saudi Arabian what? The car has a 250 watt and a top watt of what of what? All the answers, all the words do not come from the students' minds. All the words come from here. So give them some time to do this. And then when they finish, you can ask them to check it. All right. So if a car is 15 meters, that would be like longer than a bus. It can be almost like a train wagon, right? Of the new Saudi Arabian design, it has a 250 horsepower engine and a top speed of 135 miles per hour, etc. So we're not talking about the Fiat here. We're talking about a new Saudi Arabian designed car. Now you do the same thing with the next one. You tell them to look at the text, not to open their books, but you can ask them to open their books too. There is no problem. My mom bought the what handbag in the mall. Remember, we can put 1 word or we can put 2 words, all right? So the students are learning construction of details. And when they finish, you show them the answers and they can correct their own answers. And finally, text number 3, who the first burgers. Notice burgers has nothing to do with bikes, but the words that we're going to use here are going to come from here. So some people think burgers, blah, 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 blah. And and then we show them the answer. Can you see how we're expanding the thinking of the students? I would like to thank you for watching this video. If you would like to subscribe to my channel where I upload many, many new lessons, you can scan the barcode or you can type in the URL and it will take you straight to that. These are my contact details. Thank you very, very much for participating. I look forward to sending you the next lesson as well. Goodbye and have a great day.